everybody. Daniel Allison, the average dude. And if this is your first time joining us, you may be surprised to not see this gentleman right here, but there he is.
Nice.
There he is, Freddie Blanton. He threw me off a little bit this morning, so I brought everybody into the studio, and now here is Freddie Blanton. Good morning, Freddie Blanton.
Good morning, dudes.
Morning.
Hey,
Morning.
we threw you right into the wildfire. We've got great guests with us this morning. We're going to be talking courage on the energy bus. Are you ready to have a great conversation, Freddie Blanton?
Absolutely. Can you believe work was trying to get in the way of this?
You know what? 486 days in, and I think they've given us some problems like one or two times, and so I think we're going to let Bobcat Inc. Pass. But hey, good morning, everybody. And Freddie's going to have that first sip of coffee, and I tell you what, I feel left out. Do you guys have a sip of coffee with you this morning? Let's do it.
Larry was
Let's
knocking
start it
his
up.
out, man.
I don't know.
I will say that was not my first sip. But it
Oh,
won't be my last. So I'm gonna tell myself I couldn't wait.
hey, you know what? I'm going to make everybody a little bit bigger. I am so excited to have this conversation. Go ahead, Eric.
I did have the courage to tell everybody though.
Oh, wah, wah, wah.
Hey, you know what?
Just saying.
I was going there, Aaron. I was going to go there. You did have the courage to tell the truth, and that's a big deal. Hey, let me just say this. Number one, Aaron, you look good, man. I've known you now for quite some time. You look like maybe you've lost some weight. You look like you've got great energy. Tell us how you're feeling this morning.
I feel great. Yeah, down as of this morning, I was down 43 pounds.
Wow.
In about 16 weeks. So
That's
really,
fantastic.
really excited about that. And obviously with some extra free time on my hands over the past 8-9 days, it's actually been a good thing. Had a chance to really rest and recuperate and focus on me and get really hard into self-improvement and self-development and exercising and meal planning and prepping and just really good. Thank you so much for asking though.
Yeah,
Oh,
well, look at that
absolutely,
kitchen.
man.
How could you not meal prep in that thing?
I know. Hey, and now we're going to move over to Mr. Larry Welinowski. Larry, I've been waiting to get you on here live. We love having you on the bus. We've talked to you a couple of times, but great to have you. And I love the backsplash. I love the real backsplash.
Yeah. I appreciate it. I apologize for not coming on a couple other times when you invited me, but busy couple months, just doing some traveling and had some family issues to take care of. But yeah, I'm back at it, contacting my customers yesterday and, just trying to get back in the swing of things after a couple little tough months here. So yeah.
Well, you love staying on the go, don't you, Larry? I mean, we see you on LinkedIn. You're always seem to be doing something. Might be a concert, might be grilling out, might be vacation, might be playing golf, might be working hard. Tell us about staying busy.
Well, and that's the thing. Like 5 years ago, I made a pact to myself and started to use LinkedIn and get myself out there. And I was never really that outgoing guy that, I can't believe it today. I'm out there doing videos and sharing every little thing I'm doing online, but it's really helped me tremendously in my business because it's just drawn people into my world. You know what I mean? I'm letting people see what I'm doing. And that's the whole point of it. And that's how it's worked for me. If you notice what I post, I don't really post a lot of, hey, buy my plastic resin. You know what I mean? I don't really do a lot of that. I do some of it, but it's more of like, hey, I let people know who I am first. And when I meet them in person, it's like, hey, I already know you. Like, I already know who you are. You know what I mean?
What do you think of that approach, Freddie?
Oh, I think he had the courage to start posting on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And it takes courage. Paul, what about you? When you think about courage, I'm gonna let Paul. He's a thinker. When you think about courage, what do you think about? and we've got great commenters too. I'm going to show everybody, but what is courage? When you think about courage, what comes to mind for you?
I think it's synonymous with perseverance. I always look at courage as being able to get back up after you've been kicked down and
Get-
being able to step into situations where it's not always comfortable, it's not always easy, but still try to do the right thing.
I like that. Aaron Jacobitz, what is courage to you?
So that's a great question. So I actually had a chance this morning to go back to a notebook that I had from a long time ago. And one of my first mentors, and when I got into sales and business development and marketing, this is what he said. I don't know who the original credit goes to, but I will tell you. So the quote was, "Courage isn't found when conditions are perfect. It's revealed when the stakes are high and you choose to move forward anyway."
Mm, I
So
love that.
that's something that's always stuck with me. It's that choosing. It's choosing to move forward anyway.
And it gets tougher and tougher as we get older. We talked about the tractor pull one morning, didn't we, Freddie? As you get down the track, things get heavier. The load that we're carrying gets harder to carry, and so that's a big deal. Larry,
Now, hold on. If you were going to a tractor pull tomorrow night, Danny Allison, would you wear the Danny Allison suit? The people want to know.
man, that's a tough question. I take these questions seriously. I kind of drop into the moment. You know, it depends. I've gotten to where I feel talking about courage. I feel if I'm going to do something like this, I'm going to put a jacket on. That's what I've always done, and I've always worn a jacket. So I've always been the guy that dressed up a little bit. Going to
We always thought those were your pajamas.
What's that?
We always thought those were your pajamas.
Oh yeah, exactly.
He wears them. He wears them like they're as comfortable as his pajamas. I'll tell you what.
People say that it's wrinkle free and I could sleep in it. But to finish my thought there, you know, I think that if I was going to have a camera with me and I was going to do any of my average dude stuff, which would be fun, I think that I would probably have a jacket on.
I would ask though that moving forward, you need 2 levels of approval before you wear that amazing cranberry color jacket anywhere except for something professional, because nothing better happened to that jacket, because that is incredible.
Hey, I appreciate that. This is one of those purchases. I wasn't so sure about it when I bought it, but then I kept deciding, well, I bought it now. I might as well wear it. But
Well, the great news is if I lose 185 more pounds and you don't want it anymore, I could probably get it on. So
Take it right off your hands.
Oh, that's funny. Hey, we've got some great commenters too, and then we're going to ask Larry about courage. Let's say good morning to Mr. Joe. Great to see Joe here every single morning. Buongiorno. There's Julie. Have you guys had a chance to meet Miss Julie Todaro? She's got a great initiative going on.
You said it right, dude.
Hey, I'm looking at the word. You know, it makes it a lot easier that way.
Celebrate the little wins.
Look at what Joe says here. Pickleball will knock off some pounds. That is for sure. Staying active like that. Back to courage. What is courage for Larry Welinowski?
So courage for me has been to put myself into uncomfortable situations, and LinkedIn is one of them. But just moving, you know, when I moved to South Carolina, I've been here 18 months now. I continually forced myself to walk into rooms where I didn't know anybody. So I did a ton of networking. I joined a great networking group. But you know, that courage to me to walk into a room and not know anybody and have to introduce yourself and tell your story over and over again, you know, that was courage for me.
Absolutely. Anytime we do something like that, that's a big deal. I'm going to put this up here. Courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the judgment that something else is more important than the fear. Mm. What comes to mind for you, Paul Pappy, when you hear that quote?
I mean, I just nodded in affirmation, like, man, that's a really good quote.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
because at
mean,
the yeah, go ahead.
it's easy to prioritize a list of stuff to do. It's not so easy to prioritize your goals over the fear of not reaching those goals, or the fear of failure, or the fear of, making a mistake. Um, I think that takes intense personal discipline to get over that hump.
I used to play kind of a mental exercise. If I wasn't scared of anything, if I wanted to sell a Bobcat today and I was not scared, what sorts of actions would I take? What are the things that just make me, you can't do that. Well, why can't you do that? Right. And oftentimes it's that fear of what might happen, but it is the courage to go ahead and make the call or to try something new. Freddie Blanton, have you ever had to use some courage to sell a Bobcat?
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I got into sales, I never thought I'd be in sales.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I was happy standing behind the parts counter, helping the service techs. Hey, you come in here, you ask me for what you need. I go get it, bring it to you. It's super transactional. So just the beginning of sales, having to be relational, took tons of courage for me to drive up to somebody's business or property, get out of my truck, walk into their facility and try to talk to somebody. Another live human with a personality and emotions scared me to death.
Why do you think that's so hard, Freddie? We've talked about it. You're pretty nice to salespeople. In other words, if a person comes to your door, you're going to talk to them. Why do you guys think that we feel this hesitation about reaching out to another business owner to see if you can earn their business? What are we afraid of in doing that? Do we not want to be disturbed ourselves? And we know what it's like if somebody wants to sell me something, well, that's not a fun feeling. It's if I don't want to buy it and they want to sell it to me, I'm trying to distance myself. Right.
I mean,
Right.
I don't think it's everybody in this room necessarily, but most people it's fear of rejection. You know what I mean? And you have to really get over that. You just have to keep going and going and going. And all of us know that I've been in sales for a while that, rejection is part of it. And you move on to the next one and move on to the next one. But most people, don't want to see that look on someone's face like, oh my God, here's another salesperson,
Yeah.
That's right. It does. It takes something to get through that. Aaron, please.
Yeah, I will say this. I was thinking about this morning, and it's interesting, Larry, you say that, because when I was younger, and I don't know if anybody else can relate to this, when I was younger and just getting into sales, the fear and where you need the courage is to overcome the fear that maybe today you're not going to sell something. Maybe this week you're not going to sell something. The problem is as I've gotten older and more experienced, you think it'd get better, but sometimes it gets worse. And here's what I mean. It turns into, what if I can't sell something today, to what if I can't ever sell anything again? What if, what if I just one day wake up and people don't find value in what I have or what I'm saying or the relationship? What if this is the end? What if I never can do whatever it is that I'm doing again? And so I think the need for courage builds because the fear builds, and you think the fear would get easier and better, but actually I think it's opposite.
I think that's an excellent point. It's so much of it is the confidence when we're feeling good about ourselves, when we're not afraid of the rejection, and when we're just continue to make the calls, we start to kind of build up that confidence and that momentum, and it keeps going. But if we've ever had to slow down, what Aaron's talking about, man, once we start second guessing ourselves, it is so hard to be courageous. Mm-hmm. It is so hard to be courageous. Freddie, what's on your mind?
Well, I'm just thinking, so how often do we put ourselves in uncomfortable positions on purpose just to try to shake that feeling? Mm-hmm. I told you this story, but a couple of days ago, I went to lunch with a couple of guys, and one of them was a new salesman, basically. And we were just kind of discussing, his thoughts and plans toward building business and cold calls and all that stuff. Well, at the end of the lunch, the waitress was bringing the bill over here, bringing it to us, and she was about to drop it off. And I said, well, hold on. This gentleman wants to tell you what he does for a living. And then he froze. So first of all, it was awkward for me to even ask her to stand there and listen. So I know it threw him off. But then to have to tell the waitress what he does for a living, it shook him a little bit. So I filled in as like, hey, not only does he do this, and I hit some notes and some stuff about what he does. So when she walked off, I was like, how was that? He's like, that was terrible. It was uncomfortable. I was like, well, now the rest of the day, you won't have to deal with that.
Yep.
I love that story. And that's what sales is, isn't it? It's about feeling that uncomfortable feeling, doing it anyway, and you have a great feeling. Had he went into that and really bought into it, he would have felt great that he did it. Larry, I want to ask you, overcoming rejection, getting rid of the W-2, showing courage. That's why I wanted to kind of have you on this program. Have you always been someone that hasn't been afraid of rejection, or that wanted to, find out, so to speak, that wanted to try new things? Has that always been part of who you were?
No, it hasn't been, actually. When I was younger, I was an extreme introvert. Like when I was in college, I thought I was going to be the guy behind a desk punching numbers. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I just wanted to do my job, go to work, get paid, go home. Like I was not who I am today. Definitely.
Yeah. And so people change. How did that happen for you?
It happened for me, honestly. It started to happen for me when I just needed a job, and I was applying for all these jobs, and then I ended up getting a sales job, and I didn't really want to be in sales, but I was forced to be out of my shell, to start calling people on the phone, to start, doing all that. And I still didn't like it. I did it for 10 years and I didn't like it. You know what I mean? So, but then I, started my own business and on from there. But I mean, honestly, until 5 or 6 years ago, I don't think I was really completely out of my shell like I am now.
Yeah. And then you get momentum doing it, though, because it's, for someone to meet you now, they wouldn't have suspected that. That's why I was curious about it.
Yeah. And now I feed off it. You know what I mean? I feed off the interaction, just meeting new people, whether it's, even if it's just on LinkedIn or whatever, but, just walking into a room full of new people, I kind of feed off that energy. And I still have to work myself up to do it, but it's still something I have to overcome every time I do it, but I feed off it now. Yeah.
I was going to say, we talk about energy a lot. There's nothing more energizing than doing something that makes us nervous and doing it anyway. We're scared to death to do it. One of my favorite books when I first started my personal development journey was that Mel Robbins, and it was a simple book. It was Taking Action, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So she'd count backwards in her head. And the minute that she had a thought, I need to call this person, I need to try this thing, I need to do this video, I need to do whatever, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go and get it done. Paul Pappy, anything come to your mind as we have this conversation on courage? Anything personally for you?
I think there's always been a balance in my head. I mean, when I first started in this career and I started moving into customer interaction and sales 20 years ago, it was every rejection was an arrow to the heart. And I think it was a maturity thing. I hadn't experienced enough rejection, had my daddy issues and stuff, and I had that kind of rejection going on. So every time I get a quote turned down or an opportunity turned down, or I just didn't receive as much as I gave, it was like, man, I suck at this. What am I doing? Now I look at my approach. I'm so covetous of people's time, and I'm covetous of my own. So like when I have an outside salesman come in the front door and want to talk to me, I'm like, this was not on my schedule. You're messing with the stuff between my ears and I can't get it straight. So I'm going to have to take the afternoon off, find a tee box. But I think, at the same time, when I go in to meet a prospect or a customer, I have to be covetous of that time. I have to want that little snippet from their schedule, and I have to believe the value that I bring exceeds the pain of the loss of the time they're sacrificing for me, if that makes sense.
It
Now,
does.
Paul, do you have employees?
What's that?
Do you have employees?
Yes.
If you see one of your guys or girls come in and you can tell they're lacking confidence or their last few interactions, they didn't show courage, how do you help them fight through that?
Well, typically I try and gauge how much space they're going to need. Everything good, just quick question, and I can basically read where the next two comments or questions are going to go based on their body response to that everything good. But I think it makes an impact, just those two words. Somebody that's interested, like, you just look a little bit off. We spend enough time together where I can kind of see some of these signals. But I think you manage across a bevy of personalities and trying to adapt to each one of those personalities and pay attention for the little flags and that kind of thing. It takes being an integral part of your own culture.
Yeah. Now it looks like John Nelson had time to hop on here before his 9 o'clock tea time. He's in the comments.
Hey, great to see John Nelson in the comments, and good morning to you. Let's
Thank
see
you
what
for
Joe
stopping
says
by,
here.
John.
The challenge is not so much selling anything, but the development of solid relationships to open up and expand the connections and network and offer the products and services of value with others that we know. It's about meeting people. Sales is about communications. It's the human being game, right? It's social intelligence. It's asking the right questions. It's overcoming our own fear. Paul made an excellent point where he made me think about something that we had talked about earlier. When he sees a salesperson comes in, you've messed up my day, right? Because everybody's got things that they're busy doing. And so that's the consternation that we feel about reaching out. We know how we feel when someone comes into our time. So I think it would be great. We've got a lot of folks in the comments.
I want you to look at this one, Daniel. Tell me what you think.
Fear is harder as we age because of the revelation that people are not kind.
Whew, does anybody ever run into that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Aaron, have you got a dose of that recently?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Like purposefully trying to not be kind. Like how do you purposefully, I don't know. Anyway.
It just makes me smile.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
especially when that company has salespeople.
Yeah, pain gets passed around like energy too, right? People pass pain around. So if the company's not doing well and a salesperson comes in and they're having some frustration and they're not doing well, man, they're going to really go off on him, right? They're going to take their frustration of everything in this company. We're not doing well, and now we've got a salesman in here, and he's going to sell us something. And so that's it's kind of human nature. Larry, if you were talking to someone and you wanted to move them from, maybe it's an employee, maybe it's just a friend, you want to move them from the person that's not taking uncomfortable action into the kind of person that's finding out. And you've kind of experienced that. What could you tell them about what's on the other side, and what could you tell them about steps to take?
Yeah, honestly, you just have to do it a couple times. I mean, that's really to get yourself in that situation and overcome that initial fear is, it gets easier every time. Now, the first couple of times I did it, your heart's beating, you're like, you don't know what you're going to say. You don't know who you're going to meet, whatever. But now I walk into a room and I enjoy it. I enjoy meeting new people and all that. But honestly, the more you do it, the more you'll overcome it.
There's always a reward. That's what I keep hearing. Like, you walk into that room, I still get nervous doing things I get nervous doing a lot of different things, but it's also energy, right? It's that kind of, hey, I need this. Aaron the Baron, tell me something that you would say to someone. Maybe it's a salesperson, maybe it's somebody that's wanting to join Toastmasters. How do you encourage people to take more courageous action?
Sometimes it's not what I say, it's what I don't say. And what I mean by that is help encourage that person to go back to when they made a tough decision or an uncomfortable situation in the past and when it worked, and allow them to go back and remember, hey, I was in this situation here. This is what I did, and here's the reward, as you mentioned, that I got. Here's how it went well, and if it didn't go well, what would you do different in this decision? And let them tell you and uncover the other thoughts that are on the other side of their head that aren't the lies that they're being told, that's making them uncomfortable, and their confidence and all of that stuff that we deal with. But really it's reminding them of the decisions and the hard things they've done in the past that have gone well for them, and encourage them that this is no different.
Absolutely. I love that. Freddie Blanton, what's on your mind as we close out this discussion on courage?
Well, I just like that. Confidence is the memory of success, and we have all had successes. So that there's something you can always look back on, even if it's as small as pronouncing someone's name properly. That was a success.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
You got that all day to look back to. But here's what I like to say is that your feelings at work are overrated.
Your
right?
feelings?
Yeah. So if someone hurts your feelings, who cares?
Yeah.
Move on. The way they
Yeah.
treated you felt a certain way. It doesn't matter. You're at work. You're trying to make a living. You're trying to provide. Just move on.
Now, y'all know how, like, when people say nice things, because I have to work with Freddie so much, anytime somebody says something nice, I always bring it up. And so he says, great understanding regarding pain, Daniel. What do you think of that? Mr. Collins said, hey, Daniel, you did something else right, too.
Yeah.
But, hey, it does get passed around. Pain does get passed around. And what you're saying, Freddie, sometimes we can have that feeling like we want to respond. We're upset about something and we want to say something. Maybe this person deserves it, but no win comes from that energy. That energy is just, we might as well be pushing up against a brick wall. It's just wasted energy. Let's see what John says. Get Freddie a Red Bull. He doesn't have enough energy this morning.
I mean, my name's on the screen. He can't even spell it right. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I'm going to give everybody, we've got 3 great guests this morning. I'm going to give Larry, Paul, and Aaron final thoughts this morning. Larry, give me a final thought. Loved having you on the bus this morning. Thank you for joining us. A final thought when you think about courage and all things energy this morning.
So my final thought is I'm going to give everybody an analogy, and all you golfers, Paul, everybody here, John, will attest to this. When I was a lot worse at golf, it's always that one shot you hit that round that brings you back to the next round. You're like, I can do that again. I can do that again. And it's the same in sales. When you have that one success, you know that you can do it again. So that's really what brings you back, is, like Freddie said, your successes.
Oh man, nothing like hitting that little fade into the hole. Come on now. Come on,
Yeah.
Aaron the Baron, talk to me.
This is for all the introverts, which I am not. So my final thought would be, have quiet courage today. And what I mean by that is make a decision today that nobody sees, but everybody feels.
I love that. Make them feel something. Paul.
My final thought first of all, Aaron, Larry, fantastic final thoughts. Like, I just kind of want to say, man, me too. Me too.
Amen.
Hashtag me too.
But I think when we come to those forks in the road, making a decision to go one way or the other, always do the one that's hard. The ones that are easy have longer consequences. The ones that are hard you got to be following the right path. It's just synonymous with making the right choice. It's always a harder choice because maybe the personal benefit isn't what you would want it to be, but the benefit that you put out is far more valuable. You may never get to see that value, but just know that it's out there.
Oh, I love that. There's two paths. The narrow and cramped road leads to life. That's where my mind went just with that. I love that. And Freddie, last but not least, close us out on this Thursday morning, please.
You know, typically Thursday is known as Throwback Thursday. So today, throw back to a couple of your biggest wins, your biggest successes, and think about what you were doing in your mindset at that time and drag it into the day.
I love it. Let's go out there. Be courageous today. Thanks so much, everybody. Enjoyed it. See you tomorrow.
See ya.
Bye-bye. See ya.